Welcome back to another episode of Unpacking Life with the box and the basket. Your makeshift basket. We need to get to a real one, sure. Like a little mini one we can just carry. Like a little belt.
Like Little Red Riding Hood.
Yeah. No. Anyway, so we're coming to you from our editor's studio in Phoenix. So shout out to XYZ Media. They've been awesome. And we're kind of thinking, or when we're flying here, we're kind of talking about different topics that we could bring up. And it's almost the end of the year. And we figured we'd talk about, I guess, like a year in review.
Mm-hmm.
That was the biggest thing that happened to us this year and some exciting stuff that we did. So what do you think?
What do I think about our year?
Yeah. Was it a good year, a bad year? Great year?
It's always a good year. Unless you're like, something bad's happening.
Yeah.
You're sick or
Break my leg.
getting a divorce.
Not us. We don't
Somebody
even say that
because-
word.
Oh, well, now I said it. Well, the biggest thing was that you quit your job
Yeah.
in 2023,
That's really the most notable.
which is something that we had never planned for. And if you know me, I'm a big planner and I like to plan everything.
And a warrior. So that was
Yep.
kind of crazy.
And a stage 5 clinger and a catastrophic thinker and
Just all the
an
things.
overthinker and an underachiever so that I don't disappoint myself.
What do you say? Under promise, over deliver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you want to tell the story about how you quit your job?
Sure. So it all started on a dark story. No. So in 2021, that's when it all kind of started.
Butterfly effect.
Yeah. So I was working for the PD for a few years at that point, and there was a soccer game. It was like police versus fire, and obviously I was playing on the police side, and I was going for a ball, hauling butt, and the goalie came way out for some reason. And they had just passed me the ball. I went to stop the ball at the same time that he dove for the ball. And his shoulder just went right into my knee. I have the video. Should we post it?
Yeah. I'm going to send it to Zeke.
It's you can't really see it, but you can see right before the impact. But anyway, so took the guy's knee to the shoulder. I flipped over, and then the ref comes over. I remember I was laying there in pain, and the ref comes over and he's like, "You good?" I was like, "No." And he's like, "What?" I go, "I'm not good." And unfortunately, the most embarrassing time of my life happened. I was helped off the field by 2 firefighters. And I was still trying to walk on it because, it hurt, but I have super high tolerance for pain, so I wasn't exactly sure what was wrong. I thought maybe it was just a stinger or something. No idea. So I went to the sideline, and Vanessa and the kids, they weren't there at first. I was like, where the heck did they go? Because I'd seen them right before the game, and I guess they went to the opposite side of the field. And so I'm still trying to walk on it, and I'm it really hurts. It just does not feel good. And so I'm limping over, trying to get my bag, trying to get some water and stuff. And people are just sit there. So the medics come over, and then you remember what the medics told me?
Oh, just put some tape on it.
Yeah. So they're just put some KT tape on it. It's probably just a strain or something.
Yeah.
And I was I don't know. And I would hold my legs straight out, and it would just bend down on itself. I couldn't hold it straight out. And then we went to the ER that night because I was this is not good. And even the ER doctor, he's messing with it, and it didn't really hurt. And he's pressing on it, and he's yeah, I don't think it's broken, man. He's just ice it overnight. And this is Saturday night, September 11th to 21. And yeah, so he wasn't even gonna give me he didn't give me a brace or anything.
No.
And I had to ask for crutches because I was I can't put any pressure on it. And so finally I had to forced him to give me crutches.
Mm.
Went home, and Sunday or Saturday night I couldn't sleep or anything because it was just super painful. And then the next day it still was super painful. And then the ER doc was like, just call the ortho if it still hurts, like on it in a couple of days. So Monday morning, first day, I like called the ortho. I went in, and by the way, the ER doc didn't even do an X-ray. They didn't do like anything. And so as soon as I went into the ortho, they did an X-ray, and sure enough, it was broken. And then after that, I was still on my horse of like trying to get back to work because the ortho was like, you should be back in about 3 to 4 months. And I was like, oh, that's easy. I think it was September, so I would have been back by December before the end of the new year. I was like, it's easy, like I can do that. And started rehabbing, going through everything, and then it was just like one complication after the other. I had like 2 screws in, and they were just like really bothering me. So I went back to the ortho. They did a second surgery to try to take the screws out, or to take the screws out, take out some scar tissue that I had. And then that extended me like another 2 or 3 months. So I think I was like set to come back May of 22. And then like a week before I was supposed to go back, we were doing a workout class, kickboxing class. And I went to kick, and the person who was holding the paddle kind of like was flimsy about it. So there was like no pressure when I kicked. So my leg just snapped forward, and I just felt something like pop in my knee. And I I was still walking on it, and then my knee swelled up all bad. So I went back to the ortho, and he was like, "Yeah, it looks like you tore your meniscus." So I had to have a third surgery, which that had me out. But it was weird because they were like, "It's an easy surgery. Like you just do the surgery, and then you're back within like a month." I was like, "Oh, cool. Like I'll be back by June." But then he was like, "Well, let's see if it's your meniscus. So let's give it a month to see if it'll like heal on its own. Sometimes it'll like fix itself or something." And so like we gave it a month. I was wearing this brace, and it didn't help at all. And then so I think at that point I was like already in my head, like, do I want to go back to the PD? Because at the time too, with the PD, I was only working 1 day a week, so I was super spoiled. I'd go in on a Monday, then I was off the rest of the week until the following Monday. So my ortho, shout out to Nick because he was awesome. Yeah. So at that point, after like that, I tore the meniscus. I was already kind of contemplating like, should I go back? Should I just find something else to do? And then Vanessa and I had kind of talked about me getting my license before. Like she had always been bugging me about it.
Real estate license.
Yeah. And she was like, just get it to like at least help me. And so finally I was like, maybe I should get my license. Maybe I'll even quit the PD. And I didn't tell Vanessa anything because I already knew. As soon as I told her, I was like, she's gonna set stuff into motion. And yeah,
Get that ball.
yeah,
It's like you pushing the ball down the hill.
yeah.
You can't stop it. You can't
I'm
catch
like,
it.
I'm just at the edge with the ball, and then Vanessa comes and kicks that damn thing. And
No, but in the background, it's so funny because I kept telling her, like, my mom and my close friends, like, I want him to quit, but I'm not going to say that
yeah.
because then if it's my idea, then he might resent me one day. So it has to be his idea. So I was not kicking the ball. I was waiting for you to drop the ball.
And yeah, so I thought about it. I didn't say anything for like a month. I'm like, if I still feel like I should quit the PD and get my license like in a month, then I'll have that conversation with Vanessa. And then that's all I thought about for like a month. I was like, should I not? Should I not? And I was like, all right.
You're at home with me and you're like, oh, she's driving me nuts. I shouldn't.
Exactly. And so finally I asked her, I was like, hey, what do you think about this? And she was like, I could see the smile and the joy in her face. She's like,
Well,
I'm trying to hold back the smile.
If that makes you happy.
Yeah, she's like, that's what you want to do, sure. So anyway, so I ended up getting my license like mid 22.
June, yeah.
Yeah, and then I went back to work, and I was like, but like I don't want to quit yet. Like I still want to go back to work. I still want to do like maybe another year. And then I went back in September, and it was fine like those first like 3 months, and then we kind of moved the timeline up to like the summer of this year of 23. And then crappy supervisors and crappy work.
Wiles.
Yeah, just different laws that was changing here in Colorado. Um, and then just like I said, crappy supervisor, just like he's like telling me I'm gonna have a rough year. I'm like in my head, I'm quitting, dude. Like you're gonna have a rough year. You might just want to.
But like not.
And
He was telling you you're gonna have a rough year over little stuff, like
Yeah.
not because you weren't doing your job or because you weren't doing the right things. It's like stupid stuff.
right.
You
It's just
come
stuff.
home and
So
tell me, and I'm like, lights.
so the apartment's already super short, and like you want to nitpick on the type of boots you wear, or the type of sweater that you have on, or just dumb stuff. Like, dude, we're already super short-handed. Morale's already down. Why are you gonna try to mess with people about their stuff?
Yeah.
Like beanies. It was cold as hell. People couldn't wear a certain beanie because it had like a Nike logo and flag or something. Let's go. So anyway, so I was supposed to quit in the beginning of summer, like May, June. And then the first 3 months were just like, I'm not going to do this much longer. And
Every
so,
week we're like, you would come home and you're like, just say the word.
Yeah.
If you say the word, I'm gonna quit. I'm like, I'm not saying the word. You say the word.
And like after years of law enforcement, like being in the military, I can work under anybody.
Yeah.
I can work under any supervisor. I always kept my head down and like stayed away from the grass. So it wasn't an issue like if I needed to, but at that point it was just more for selfish reasons that I was there anyways, just because I wanted to have fun and hang out with my friends. And then so I would come
Not
home.
because you wanted to serve the community.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, like at that point, I was just like over it. I'm like, just let me know. I'm going. And then finally, you were like, all right, do it. And I was like, all right, we got to pick a date.
Yeah.
And then obviously, I was going to be about 2 weeks, and it was just, but yeah, so that was the biggest change.
Well, I think too, with like going back to you deciding to quit sooner, is that once you like make a plan, you have a plan, and you kind of have like one foot out the door, it's easier to like jump.
Me
Whereas-
specifically, or just anything?
You and in general, hopefully, I don't know. Where if that wasn't even on the radar, right, that you were gonna quit, then you would have dealt with it differently. But
Yeah.
because you already like in the back of your mind, you know you're quitting, you're not like as invested anymore. And you're like, why am I dealing with this?
Yeah.
So I think it just accelerated our timeline. And that's the thing about like goals and what you want to do is you have to be flexible. And it ended up being that, we started putting things out there and like really started changing things a year in advance. Like in 2022, we started making little things happen and changing things in how we ran the business to prepare for him quitting in 2023. So those things just kind of started snowballing into something bigger where I was like, listen, we have more business, we have more stuff to do, more clients to serve. I only have so much capacity to where I kind of needed him to quit sooner. And I believe too that once you put that like out in the universe or give it up to God, whatever you believe in, then things start happening. And it was kind of like we put it out there that you were going to quit and that everything will be fine. And things started coming, right? Like we started getting more clients.
Yeah, because I was even working clients before I even quit the PD.
Mm-hmm.
I remember a couple times I was like on a call and I'd have to like text somebody like in between calls, or answer phone calls like right before lineup. And I mean, we got pretty busy quick.
Yeah.
So yeah, we definitely, once we decided to make that leap, like we were both all in. But I think you're right. As far as, especially my mentality, like once I'm like any job that I've ever decided to quit, like when I worked at USAA for a little bit and before I got the PD, I was over it. I was like, I need a damn place. We got ready to go. So yeah, it's definitely interesting. But I think that was the biggest change of this year, 2023. Yeah, I mean, it was great. It's been great ever since.
Mm-hmm.
And then just recently, I think the biggest change is like the stress levels that I wasn't even aware of. Like we had just talked about it with some friends where I never felt overworked. I never felt stressed out. I never felt like I was dealing with too much with the PD until I left. And once I left, I was like, oh, this is a different kind of stress off my shoulders where I didn't think that I had before.
I kept telling people, because we announced it to like clients and friends and all this, and which was part of like our marketing strategy and how we were going to do things anyway. And there's twofold. Hopefully, I don't forget what I was going to say. Number one was we weren't telling a lot of people that you were going to quit,
Right.
except like the people that we really trust. Just because I always believe that like you start telling people too much, and like their negative energy messes it up for you. Yeah. And so that worked out well. We didn't really tell people until we were like the ball was already coming down the hill at like a fast speed. So I think that helped. And then the second thing I didn't forget, is that so people knew and they were asking me like, how's it going with him like being gone from the PD and like him quitting and all this stuff. And everyone's just expecting me to say like he's driving me crazy and this and that. And one of the biggest things that I kept telling people is that I feel like you're unthawing slowly because over like since you've been 18, I feel like, well, even younger, you've been in like dangerous, high stress situations. Mm-hmm. And to cope with them and like be a functioning human, you kind of became like an ice block. So I kept telling people that you're like slowly unthawing from that. No, you don't think so?
I don't think so, but
you just said you saw change. And you
less
didn't realize,
stress.
yeah.
Less stress for sure.
Less stress, more golfing.
Yeah. I'm working out. Like, I think that's been the biggest for me personally is like, I thought I was pretty healthy when I was with the PD, but like I work nights, I ate like crap. I still don't eat the best, but like you can tell I work out, but I don't turn out a donut. And like just going to the gym more consistently, being more healthy and like being more aware of my health is important to me now.
Yeah.
Where when I was with the PD, like all I wanted to do was just get away from people and I don't want to do anything. I don't want to go to your function. I don't want to leave my house.
Yeah. So you're still like that a little bit because you're still in the undying process, but I'm also like, I don't like going places. But when you were with the PD, it was like dragging you out of the house because you were off 3 days and for those 3 days you were just like numb to everything, like you didn't want to do anything, and it's like a super like stress and then nothing for 3 days until you went back to work. So.
And they tell you, it's so crazy because they tell you about that in the academy. Mm-hmm. They're like, just get out and do stuff because you're going to be at work and you're going to be on a super high, like adrenaline, like everything is going to be super high. And then on your days off, you're just going to want to crash and you're going to be super low. And you need to get back to that baseline and stay at that baseline of like health, happiness, like everything.
But you didn't listen.
No, of course not.
Why would he?
It's just so hard. It's really hard. So.
But I think also you're giving like so much energy to the job and like controlling yourself and like not, I don't know, dealing with like the things that you're seeing and dealing with and all that, that when you're off, you don't have the capacity to like take care of yourself. Whereas now, like we're on, a mini vacation, we're recording, but we're also like doing stuff with friends and stuff. Yeah. And I'm not trying to go to the gym. And every morning he wakes up at like 6:30 and he's like, okay, we're going to the gym at 7. And I'm like, who is this guy?
I have to be
when you were with the PD.
Oh yeah. I'd be like, let me sleep until like 11.
So
but I have to or else I won't do it. Mm-hmm. So
you're like all or nothing kind of person.
Yeah. So it's been 9 months since I quit, and I mean we have all kinds of adventures and stuff that we've done that we would not have been able to do when I was still with the PD.
Which is another thing. So we took a lot of trips. Mm-hmm. And if you were with the PD, you couldn't do it because you wouldn't have enough like time.
Yeah.
Which leads me to, remember when you went back to work and they were like,
gosh, yes.
Writing you up for taking unpaid leave or something?
So in November of each year, November-ish, the police department does a shift bid for the following year. So based on your seniority, you pick your substation that you're going to work out of. You pick your first set of days off because every quarter your days off change. So you pick your station, first set of days off, and then you'll get on your list. And then once you have your, and the shift that you're going to work. So what time, what hours you're going to work. And then once everybody picks through that, then each shift individually does their, like the rest of the days off for the rest of the year. And then they get 2-week blocks of vacation. So in like December, they usually do that before the new year starts. So you know when your vacations are throughout the year. So
A year ahead.
yeah, so in November of 22, I did my shift bid for this year for 2023. And then I ended up picking like my 2-week block of vacations, and I was already back to work at that time. So then in March, I had like my first set of vacation. February, I had my first set of vacations. And then, but because I was out for that year, I had no paid time off. And I think I only had out of 10 days or 8 days that I would have been taking off, I had like 5 days vacation, like my time off balance. So there was 3 days that I was going to take unpaid, and I'm like, I don't care. I'll take it unpaid. That's fine. So I still went on my vacation, took my 2 weeks off. Can't remember what we did.
You went to Washington with Dion, and then we went to Mexico with the kids.
No, that was after I quit. That was like the week after I quit. Can't remember.
Oh, we went to California.
No, that was like November.
I don't remember.
I don't know. But anyway, so we took our vacation. And then I came back after my 2-week vacation, and the sergeant was like, hey, you took unpaid leave for your last 3 days of your vacation. Like, why did you do that? Like, because I had my 2-week block and we had plans already. He's like, well, you're not allowed to do that. Like, you need to get a memorandum from the police chief, signed from the police chief, saying that you can take that time off. And I'm like, well, I'm not asking to get paid for it.
Right.
I'm just like, I took it unpaid.
The time off was approved.
Right.
You needed permission for them not to pay you.
Right. So then I'm like,
what?
So I'm like, I need a memorandum from the chief saying that I'm asking him for permission for him not to pay me.
Yeah.
For these 3 days. And they're like, yeah. It's like, this is ridiculous. So I ended up having to write this stupid memorandum and sending it up to the chief. And then I got written up for it saying that, I wouldn't do that again. Which I'm like, okay. I won't be here much longer. But yeah, so that was like another sour taste in my mouth. I'm like, so dust. Like, why not just work for my wife and get yelled at?
I'm not a much better manager, I feel. No?
Sometimes.
I let you take PTO all the time.
As long as you're with me.
No.
That's the only stipulation.
Sometimes I give you PTO to get you away from me.
No.
You took off things.
This is a stage 5 clinger here.
No.
Oh.
I just miss the night swear. Stop it.
It's going to be a 2-hour long.
Again.
It's going to be a 2-hour long.
I do. So when you were working for the PD 4 days a week, you would leave at 4:30 p.m. and you would not come home till 3 a.m. So it was like me being a single mom for 4 days out of the week.
You're a champ, lady.
And I started like just having this routine of like feeding the kids, taking them to the activities, getting them home, finishing their school stuff, getting them showered, getting them in bed, and I would shut down. So we live in a 2-story house. So the main level is the kitchen. Upstairs are all the bedrooms. So I would shut down like the kitchen and everything. Like, who wants like a snack? Who's still hungry? Like, I'm shutting down the kitchen. And then I would clean up. I'm a little OCD, so everything had to have its place. And like all the cushions were fixed. I would vacuum, put some lines in the carpet. And then we would all go upstairs. I would watch my show. The kids would mess around or watch a show with me. And then I would put them to bed. And it was like me time, like uninterrupted. And I could be asleep by like 9 p.m. And now you're home those 4 days. And sometimes I miss it because it's like, now it's chaos. The pillows don't get put back where they're supposed to be. There's no lines in the carpet. And the kitchen stays open till like midnight because you're in there snacking at 11 p.m. So,
like I said, I don't turn down a donut. How about this?
So no, but sometimes I just go up and I'm like, listen, I'm gonna go watch my shows or like read a book, do whatever, and you do your thing. And people think like we're just on top of each other all day long. But like you're doing things with clients, I'm doing things separately. Like we're not doing them together a lot. So we really don't see each other as much as people think. Like,
What's like this past or back in Roman's birthday.
yeah,
He his birthday party was on a Saturday, and we didn't see each other all day until like almost 4 o'clock. It's Roman's birthday party time.
yeah, because
We were both working at separate times.
we usually divide and conquer to be more efficient with our time.
And so that was the biggest change.
Kind
Last 2023, but I mean, it's been a lot of good too. I know
was that not good? A lot of good too. You just said there was a lot of good too. Like, was that not a good thing?
that was it. No, we got to take a lot of trips.
You went
Like,
to Washington.
Yeah, the
DC
week
with
after I quit,
Mhm.
I was in DC with Dion for a school trip. Well, it was fun.
Chaperoning a bunch of teenagers.
Yeah. And then we got back, and then I think like 2 days later, 3 days later,
3 days long.
we ended up going to Mexico with the family. Took all the kids, and then we came out here
And
in June. I recorded some videos then.
hung out with some friends that engage on weekend with Mel and Mike.
Oh, yeah, like
Just kind
we
of
were out here in June.
engaged. And then in August, we went to our yearly World Masters Jiu-Jitsu Championships to
Tournament.
support Black Belt Johnny.
Yep.
Look him up on YouTube.
Well, look at that. There's this longer.
Oh, that's crazy. And where else did we go? Well, Phoenix
Yeah.
in September through Cowboys Inn to record our anniversary.
Nice.
And then the best trip of the century.
The century?
Yes.
Are you sure? Because we were there less than a century ago.
Yeah, but only 4 of us, not all 5 of us.
Bahrain was it?
In my belly. Was going to Germany in October.
It's a like pretty good. Yeah, since that was good time to stay out your own like stuff.
All femme crystal.
No,
Okay.
they're getting old.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, just like that's been our goal. Like when we first got together, we didn't really talk about goals. We didn't know who we were. Like everything was like we were still working on ourselves and like trying to figure out who we were. But like as we've grown up together, we like established the goals for our family and what we want out of life. And the big thing for us is having like freedom and being able to pick up and go somewhere if we want to. And
we just
like
talked about that a couple days ago where you're like, I want to retire by 40. And then if you really think about it, we're kind of already retired.
Yeah.
Just because we don't have 9-to-5 jobs that we don't have to go into a office. I mean, besides working with our clients, we can take a trip. We do a lot of stuff we can do remotely besides showing houses.
Yeah. Like our client experience doesn't suffer because we're gone.
I mean,
it's like a sacrifice we make in quotations. It's not really a sacrifice.
what's the sacrifice? Going
Taking phone calls and like working on vacation. Like I don't mind it because we're able to take more vacations. And if now, because I am gone, my client has a bad experience, that will hurt our business, which in turn will reduce our freedom to take trips. So like I have that mindset of like, I'm helping them, but they allow me to be on this trip. So just your mindset. If you go into it with like, oh, I have to work on vacation, like how lucky am I to be on the beach answering emails and helping clients? So yeah.
Although we don't like the beach, but so
At the pool then. Yeah, I don't like the beach because I don't like
the what? There's what?
I just don't like sand all over me.
But
I like looking at the beach from the pool.
So every time we go to Mexico, we literally walk up to the edge of the beach. We'll be like, oh, there's the beach. It's so nice. And then we go right to it.
Yeah. When the kids are with us.
Yeah. It's like sometimes if the kids are with us, we'll like walk off the sand, walk into the water, let
Yeah.
the water splash them. We'll be there for like 5 minutes and then they're over it too.
Like, I got sand in my butt. Boy.
All right, let's go clean up and get to the pool. There's no sand.
Yeah.
They don't typically like ask like, oh, let's go to the beach, like find sand. We've conditioned them to like the pool. And but yeah, what do you think was our biggest lesson learned for 2023?
It's okay to take chances.
Believe in yourself.
Yeah.
What do they say in at the kids at church?
The folks should.
Focus your eyes, focus your mind, focus your body, but something else about believing yourself. Is that confidence? They say or something?
No. I don't know. To believe in your step. And Roman never noticed that.
Roman is so funny because they'll like ask different questions in Taekwondo class, like, what does confidence mean? What does this mean? And he has the confidence of like, I don't even know.
Yeah.
It's amazing because he does not get embarrassed. And he just has like this confidence of like, I don't know the answer, but I don't care.
Yeah.
Like he'll raise his hand.
So Master TJ, he's a friend of ours as well. He read True Martial Arts off of Woodman and Range with a Colorado Spring. No, but so TJ will ask a question to the class like, what does confidence mean? And Robin will raise his hand every single time. Doesn't matter what question he asks, like Roman will raise his hand and then TJ will call on him and then Roman will just stare at him. He's like, I don't know. So TJ was like, all right, anybody else? And somebody else will answer. All right, what does respect mean? And then Roman will raise his hand. And Roman knows the answers. He just doesn't answer for some reason. And Roman won't answer again. He'll just stare at him and just like, I don't know.
No, like
And then,
smirk, and then you see TJ just trying not to laugh.
We're dying in the background, like in the bleachers, because we're like,
whose kid is this?
Yeah, I was like, why does he keep raising his hand? And then TJ will ask a third question or fourth or fifth question. Roman's still answering, like raising his hand. And then finally TJ was like, why do you keep raising your hand if you don't know the answer? And I'm like, why do you keep picking on him? Like, why do you keep picking on him? You know he's going to do the same thing every single time.
Don't let him answer because he doesn't know. But then TJ's always like, I just want him to redeem himself. Yeah. And he doesn't care about redeeming himself. He comes in with the same level of confidence that he leaves with. Like, it doesn't, like, embarrass him at all. It's like, I don't care. I raised my hand. And I got a spotlight moment. Yeah. People were looking at me, even though I didn't say anything.
The first, like, belt test that they had, Roman had to, like, break a board.
He went first. Yeah. Which he volunteered to go first.
And TJ was asking him, like, how many boards you want? 4 or 5 or, like, something.
Like, as a joke.
Yeah, as a joke. And everybody's laughing, and then Roman was like, I'll take 4, please. And he's like...
He said the 5, like the biggest.
No, yeah, whatever the biggest number was. And then Roman was like, I'll do that. I'll do the most. And then everybody's like dying laughing. And then TJ only raised one board. He's like, I was just joking. He goes, no, I want to break all of them.
Yeah. He's like, he knows he can do it. So
no.
Anyway, and what the biggest lesson learned for you was it's okay to take chances.
Yeah.
For me, I think it would be, since you didn't ask me.
Oh, my bad. What was your biggest lesson learned?
No, I don't know. I'm blank. I guess to be flexible and like open to new things.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, you know, like I run a tight ship.
Perfect.
And like switching my view on like you retiring from the PD in 20 years versus you quitting now 5 years in and retiring early. Like it was super scary. And I knew this about myself. Like the lead up to it was scarier than once we were in it. It's like we're in it and we just have to like sink or swim.
Yeah.
And I do better in those situations than like the anticipation is sometimes, well, for me, it's worse than like when I'm in it and now I just have to perform and I can perform.
Right.
But then like my self-doubt and everything comes in leading up to it. So, but because it was such a huge jump and such a, like, I don't know, not a lot of people in their 30s quit their job.
Right.
And you're still working, but because you have so much freedom now, it's just not like something that we typically see. And just going all in on our business and everything just taught me that like you don't have to keep being scared. Just like be flexible and allow room for like new opportunities and just like do it. Stop doubting yourself.
And we talked about it a lot before I actually did it, where we played out different scenarios. Like if we get absolutely no deals ever, like for a whole year, like we would still be okay with the income that we do have from like our rentals, from my VA disability stuff.
And
like
saving.
Still, like we would still be fine for our baseline expenditures. And maybe we would be fine.
I mean, a big part of it was planning for it financially.
Right.
So, what do you think was the craziest thing that happened in 2023?
I think we're quitting.
Really?
It's quite crazy.
I feel like you don't appreciate the full experience. I pinch myself all the time. I'm like, I think about it all the time, like, because I was in it, I feel like more than you, because when you're working, right, you're like working and you're distracted and you're like hanging out with your police buddies and doing all this stuff, like going through the motions. And for me, like worrying about you didn't worry about yourself dying because you're not afraid to die, but I was afraid that you would die. And like having anxiety, worrying, and just being there with the kids by myself, like I pinch myself all the time, like he's not going to work tonight. And we're taking this trip because he doesn't have to go back to work. So,
well, we always do that, like around 4:30, if we're doing something, we're out to dinner with friends or whatnot. Like, hey, today's Saturday at 4:30, you'd be leaving for work right now.
I do that. You don't do that. I remind you. When have you done it?
Last Thursday. I think it was at 5:27.
You don't appreciate
it. Exactly.
No, but
I do appreciate it. I mean, it's a completely different lifestyle now. So I think we're all better.
Yep. So anyway, tell us how your 2023 went.
Yep.
Any big takeaways? We'd love to hear about it.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Appreciate y'all watching, listening, however you get our content.